Hi, my name's Alan Lanny, and I'd just like to welcome you to my new channel. It's called Boxing Mod. Um, I'm a big fan of boxing. I like the classic boxers. So basically, I'll just jump into the Chad Dawson versus Bernard Hopkins fight. It was a pretty big fight, and I was looking forward to it for a long time. In the first round of the fight, I think it was basically pretty evenly matched. And it seemed as though Dawson was trying to push the pace of the action. He tried to double up his jab, and he seemed like he was going to be the aggressor. He was wanting to be the aggressor, and he was trying to break out of the sort of defensive slash passive shell that he's taken up for his past few fights. I think Hopkins was just basically doing what he does. He was feeling him out, just trying to see what his motions were and what he was trying to accomplish. And just he's basically doing what he does best. Typical Bernard Hopkins fight. So in the first round, Chad just tried to push the pace, double jabs, jab to the body, jab to the head. I don't think he wasn't hitting anything. Basically, he was hitting the air, but simply just doing that gave me an indication that it would be a pretty nice chess match, and I like those. So, second round was basically more of the same, and Bernard perhaps was doing a little bit more grabbing. Maybe he was trying to inch his way into it, and I could see that as well. And Chad didn't seem as active as the first round, and when Bernard basically leaped in with that straight right hand, you know, Dawson said he bumped him, but clearly it wasn't a bump. He picked him up, then he dumped him. He even grabbed the back of his leg. And I think it was unfortunate, especially for Bernard, because Bernard's a legend in the sport. And at 46, to be competing against a guy who's 29 and 28, and it's impressive, it's rare, and he's an anomaly. And he truly needs to be appreciated. A lot can be debated whether or not he was faking or, he was buying time. I don't think that was the case. This is boxing, so when you go into a boxing match, you're not expecting to be slammed. So there's no preparation for that. And basically, there's a medical report out now saying he's dislocated his shoulder. I think the worst part of the night was the decision. A TKO. A TKO would have to be caused by a punch. A blow to the body, the head, the side, somewhere. But basically, you can't give a guy a win, especially in a championship fight, on pay-per-view, where fans are shelling out their hard-earned money. And you're going to give the guy championship belt just on a platter, and he didn't earn it. Now, before the fight, I thought, it was evenly matched to an extent, but I was rooting for, I gave the edge to Dawson to win. I pretty much figured he's younger, he's bigger, he's faster, and at this stage, I felt like he was going to be the better boxer, the better fighter. And Bernard, he keeps eclipsing expectations every time out, because it pretty much seems like if you throw him in against someone else, he's going to be an underdog, as was the case with Jean Pascal. And he came in and he impressed, and he just beat him both times. So Hopkins, Hopkins, he's a great guy, he's a great fighter, he's an anomaly. The decision, I feel, was just completely wrong, and the referee was in the wrong. And it has to be, it's not a disqualification, at the least, it has to be a no decision, because that's a championship belt, and that's not a way to lure fans in. And I feel like things like that is what's hindering boxing. And that could have been a great fight, but I believe the action of Chad Dawson pretty much, I wouldn't say ruined the night, because Jorge Linares and Antonio DeMarco, that was an excellent fight. Like, I was Just I couldn't even sit down the whole time. That fight was fantastic. And Chad Dawson, his post-fight interview was just in bad taste. It was disgraceful. I mean, I'm a fan of him, and I know he's going to bounce back, and he's going to be, he's going to be a better fighter, and he's going to move on and do better things. But at this point, I feel like someone his caliber shouldn't have been doing that. You can't come up in the ring screaming, shouting at the fans, shouting at Bernard, talking about being gangster, this and that. I mean, you're making millions of dollars and people are paying to watch you. So, in that sense, you're professional and you'll have to conduct yourself in a professional manner. I believe Hopkins, I believe he was cheated in this fight. I believe he was robbed. And he has to get that belt back. Whether or not they strip him or something, because that's not how a championship changes hands. And that's bad for the sport. I'm a big fan of the sport. So, something has to be done about that. As far as a rematch goes, I would like to see a rematch. He wants to jump to Jean Pascal, but you have unfinished business with Bernard Hopkins. And I believe Hopkins should be the champion. The next fight, Dawson should be the challenger. Dawson has a lot of physical tools as far as a fighter goes, because he has the prototype body for a fighter. He has good defense, he's tall, good range, good power. I just feel like he has to be more active. It seems like he's trying to do that in this fight, but, fight was cut short. Could have been a great fight, we didn't get to see. As far as Bernard goes, he's up there in age, and pretty much, I don't know who he can really fight next. There's Tavares Cloud, I don't think Adonis Stevenson's ready for that step up, but there's a bunch of other guys. Maybe he might want to tackle, Kessler or Stieglitz or Frach. I think Andre Durrell and Bernard Hopkins, that would be a pretty interesting match, because I think Andre Durrell has good power, good defense, he's very fast, and he's good on his feet. So that would be a good fight, I think. I would like to see that. But basically, the undercard made the pay-per-view, and hopefully the next one will be better. I think Golden Boy did a good job with the undercard. It was a stacked undercard. I've never seen an undercard like that in a long time. They did an excellent job, and basically, the next time things are different. I hope Chad matures a little bit and he conducts himself in a professional manner. And I can't wait to see Bernard again, because I feel like he's a true gem. And every time he goes out and performs, as fans, that's something to be appreciated. And I appreciate him, I appreciate Chad, I appreciate all the fighters. But I hope next time things are a bit different. Thank you for watching.